Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So we'll continue reading Srila Prabhupada's book. The book name is Raj Vidya, the Transcendental Knowledge. We'll begin with prayers. Om Ajnanatimiraandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharin Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarin Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Reading from Srila Prabhupada's book Raj Vidya, the Transcendental Knowledge. Continuation of 6th chapter. What is the sublime and pure knowledge? Here Prabhupada is writing what is the actually sublime and pure knowledge. It is a knowledge that we are part and partial of God. It is the knowledge that we are part and partial of the God and that we are to dovetail our consciousness with the supreme consciousness. Actually, this is the pure knowledge and this is the sublime knowledge. What is that? We are part and partial of the God and we have to dovetail our consciousness. Whatever we have got, human being has got, everyone has got the consciousness, but human being has got a developed consciousness. So we have to dovetail this consciousness with the supreme consciousness. This is the purest knowledge in the material world. Here, everything is contaminated. In this material world, everything is contaminated by the modes of material nature. There are three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Goodness is also a kind of contamination. In goodness, one becomes aware of his position and transcendental subjects, etc. But his defect is in thinking. Now I have understood everything. Now I'm all right. He wants to stay here. In other words, the man in the mode of goodness becomes the first class prisoner. But still he is in prison house. In the prison house, there will be first class grades will be there. First class grade, second class grade. And the first class prisoners, they may get some good benefits. But that doesn't mean they are out of the prison. They are still in the prison house. That's what Prabhupada is mentioning here. Even one who is in the mode of goodness, he is still in the prison house and he is called a first class prisoner. Becoming happy in the prison house, wants to stay there only. And what to speak of those in the mode of passion and ignorance. The point is that we have to transcend even the quality of goodness. The transcendental position begins with the realization Aham Brahmasmi. What is that Aham Brahmasmi? I am not this matter, but a spirit soul. But even this position is unsettled. More is required. What is that? Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma Na Sochati Na Kankshati Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu. Not only here, Krishna is not saying only human being Sarveshu, Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu. Bhuteshu means all the living being. Mad Bhaktim Labte Param. Only in that state one can attain the devotion service. What is that state? One should be Brahma Bhuta and always Prasannatma. He should be happy, transcendentally situated. Here, translation Prabhupada mentioned one who is thus transcendentally situated at once realizes the supreme Brahman and he never laments nor desires. He never laments, na sochiti, and na kankshiti also. He never desires also to have anything. He is equally disposed to every living entity. Here, it is not mentioned like only human beings or only civilized human beings or only developed countries. No, now there are wars are happening between the underdeveloped countries and some developed countries. So they are thinking that it is United States. How they'll unite? Because they are not no equal to all the living entities. Not only they're not considering even for developed countries, they are only seeing I am the benefitor. They are not. They are continuously lamenting and desiring for more to acquire more and more. So one should be equal to every living being in only in that state, only in that consciousness, he attains pure devotional service unto Krishna. See here, the simple method, simple formula is given how to attain a pure devotion service. So, pure devotion service characteristic is one should not lament for what he doesn't have, and he should not desire for more, and he should be situated in a transcendental realization in the supreme Brahman. In that situation, he can be equal to all the living entities, and then he attains the pure devotional service. In the Brahmabhuta stage, one no longer identifies with matter. The first symptom of one's having become established on the Brahmabhuta platform is that one becomes jolly, prasanna atma. One becomes jolly, not like, oh, what is this devotion service? What is this bhakti? No, he is jolly. It is susukam. It is susukam kartuvam avyam. It is not performed like, some uh, somebody is forcing you one to do this. No, it is performed joyfully, prasannatma. Only on that platform there is neither lamentation nor hankering. When one attains that stage, what is the stage? Prasannatma. When he is jolly to perform the devotional service, at that time he never laments nor hanker for anything. But even if we rise to this stage and do not take to the loving service of Krishna, there is possibility of falling down again into the material whirlpool. We may rise very high in the sky, but if we have no shelter there, if we do not land on some planet, we will again fall down. Here, like Prabhupada many times gives the example. Let's say there are two airplanes are flying and each other they cannot help one another. If there are any disturbance in the other airplane, and until and unless that flying airplanes it lands, then only he will get help. Otherwise, the other airplane people will not be able to help. Similarly, they have to land somewhere, either in the this planet or some other planet. Otherwise, there is no. Here Prabhupada is mentioning we may rise very high in the sky, but if we have no shelter there, if you're not landed in any other planet, we will again has to fall down. A simple understanding of the Brahma Bhuta stage will not help us unless we take to the shelter of Krishna's lotus feet. As soon as we engage ourselves in the service of Krishna, there is no longer any chance of falling down again into the material world. Prabhupada is saying there are every chance of falling down of a living entity, even if he is in the mode of goodness, or if he is in any other planet, until and unless he has taken the shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. Our nature is such that we want some engagement. A child may commit mischief, but he cannot refrain from mischief unless he is given some engagement. When he is given some toys, his attention is diverted and his mischievous activities stop. We are like mischievous children, and therefore we must have spiritual engagement. Simply understanding that we are spirit soul will not help. Understanding that we are spirit, we have to sustain the spirit by spiritual engagement. It is not uncommon in India for a man to give up all material engagements, to leave his home and family and take the renounced order, sannyas. And after meditating for some while, being doing philanthropic work by opening some hospitals or engaging in politics, the hospital making business is being conducted by the government, is the duty of a sannyas to make hospitals whereby people can actually get rid of their material bodies, not patch them up, but for want of knowing what real spiritual activity is. We take up material activities. So Prabhupada is given beautiful example. What is the example? A sannyas has to open a hospital. See, others are others are doing some philanthropic works like opening hospitals, opening schools, no, and engaging some politics work and benefiting others. But a sannyasi's main business is to his business also is to open a hospital. But what is that hospital? To get rid of their material bodies and not patch them up, not to patch them up, not the no treat their material bodies on material level. It is spiritual hospital to give them real spiritual activity, and we take up their material activity. That is the sannyasi's business. By becoming a perfect in Krishna consciousness, knowledge and wisdom are found in due course of time. They, there may be some discouragement at first, but the word kalena means in due course of time indicates that if we simply persevere, we will be successful. Faith is required. As stated in the next verse, Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatpara samyatendriyaha jnanam labdva param shantim achirena digachati. A faithful man who is absorbed in transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses quickly attains the supreme spiritual peace. For those who are hesitant and have no faith, here it is mentioned for those who are hesitant and who have no faith. Faith on whom? On Shastra and on Krishna. Krishna consciousness is very difficult for such people. What kind of people? One who has no faith. So we can judge ourselves how much we are in Krishna consciousness. If you are finding difficulty in Krishna consciousness, that means we have no faith on the process given by a bona fide spiritual master, and we are hesitant to accept this process. Because we are hesitant and we don't have faith, that's why Krishna consciousness is very difficult. This is the simple test we can have in our life. If I feel like no feeling this Krishna consciousness is very difficult job for me to practice this spirituality, that means here we're lacking. Where we're lacking, we're hesitant and we don't have faith on the words of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. Even in our daily affairs, a certain amount of faith is required. When we buy a ticket, we have faith that the airplane company will take us to our destination. Without faith, we cannot even live in the material world. What to speak of making spiritual progress? Where we are, we to keep our faith. In the authority, we should not book our ticket with an unauthorized company. Faith must be in Krishna, the speaker of Bhagavad Gita. How do we become faithful? Control the senses. Sammitendriya is required. We are in the material world because we want to gratify our senses. Because we want to gratify our material senses. That's why we are in this material world. We, if we have faith that a physician can cure us and the physician can cure us and he tells us not to eat such and such items, such and such food, and we eat it anyway. What kind of faith do we have? If we have faith in our physician, we will follow his prescriptions for cure. The point is that we have to follow the instructions with faith. Then wisdom will come. When we attain to the stage of wisdom, the result is Param Shanti, supreme peace. Krishna indicates that when one controls the senses, faith comes in the near future, Achirena. Having attained that stage of faith in Krishna, one feels that he is the happiest in the world, happiest man in the world. This is our position. We have to accept the formula and execute it with faith. This faith must be in the supreme authority, not in a third class man. We must search out a spiritual master in whom we can have faith. Krishna is the most authorized personality, but anyone who is Krishna conscious can be accepted because a person fully in Krishna consciousness is the bona fide representative of Krishna. Who is the bona fide representative of Krishna? A person fully in Krishna consciousness. Having tasted the words of Krishna's representative, we will feel satisfied, just as we feel satisfied upon eating a full meal. अज्ञातचाश्रदादनश्च संसायात्मा विनश्यति नायं लोकोऽस्ति न परो न सुखं संशयात्मनः. But ignorant and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. One who is ignorant and one who has no faith, he cannot attain the God consciousness that is revealed in the scriptures. One who doubts on the revealed scriptures. What is that revealed scriptures? That is Bhagavad Gita as it is. If one doubts on Bhagavad Gita itself, the instructions given by Lord Krishna himself, and he has no faith and he is ignorant, so he will not attain God consciousness. For the doubting soul, there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next world. Those who are hesitant in taking this path of knowledge have no chance. Hesitation is due to ignorance. Ajnascha. Ajnascha means ignorance. For one hesitant in taking to Krishna consciousness, not even this material will be happy, but what to speak of the next life. The material world is already miserable because it is dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Lord Krishna only has told in the Bhagavad Gita about this material world as a dukkhalayam. This material world is miserable. But if one has no faith it will be more miserable. When one has no faith, here Prabhupada is saying that it will be more miserable. In this material world, by default it is miserable. But one who has no faith, for such people it is more miserable. It is like additional bonus giving Diwali bonus. It is additional more miserable. Thus, for the faithless, the situation is very precarious. We may put thousands of dollars in a bank because we have faith that bank will not close down. If we have faith in banks and airlines, why not have faith in Sri Krishna, who is knowledge by so many Vedic literatures and by so many sages to be the supreme authority? Our position is to follow in the footsteps of the great authorities. Mahajanas ena gata panta. Oral Mahajanas here, great authorities like Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If we keep our faith by executing our duties and following in their footsteps, success is guaranteed. Prabhupada is mentioning here just by following in their footsteps. If we follow Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's footsteps, then success is guaranteed. Now Gaur Purnima is coming and about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So one who follows the great authority, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the greatest authority in Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. And if we follow his footsteps, the success is guaranteed. Prabhupada is mentioning here. As stated before, we must search out one who has seen the absolute truth and surrender to him and serve him. When this is done, there is no doubt about one's spiritual salvation. Everyone is anxious to see God, but in our present stage of life, we are conditioned and deluded. We have no idea of things as they really are. Although we are Brahman and by nature jolly, we have somehow fallen from our constitutional position. Our nature is Satchit Ananda, eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. Yet this body is destined to die, and while it is existing, it in full of ignorance and miseries. The senses are imperfect, and it is not possible to attain perfect knowledge though through them. Therefore, it is stated in Bhagavad Gita that if we at all want to learn transcendental knowledge, we must approach one who has actually seen the absolute truth. Tadvidhi pranipatena. Traditionally, Brahmanas are meant to be spiritual masters. But in this age of Kali, it is very difficult to find a qualified Brahmana. Why it is difficult to find out a qualified Brahmana? Because in Kali Yuga, Kalo Shudra Sambhava. Everyone is Shudras by birth. Even one is taking birth in the traditional, in the family of a Brahmana, still is a considered as a Shudra. It is very difficult to find a qualified Brahmana. Consequently, it is very difficult to find a qualified spiritual master. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has recommended Kiba Vipra. See here, previously it was mentioned that one has to follow in the footsteps of great authority. And that great authority is one of the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has told, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has recommended Kiba Vipra Kiba Nasi Shudra Kene Nai Ye Krishna Tattvaveti Se Guru Hai. It is mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 8th chapter, verse number 128. Whether one be a Brahmana or a Shudra or a sannyasi or a householder, it doesn't matter. If he knows the science of Krishna, He is a bona fide spiritual master. Bhagavad Gita is the science of Krishna, and if we study it scrutinizingly with all our arguments, sense, and philosophical knowledge, we will come to know that science. Which science? Bhagavad Gita. It is not that we are to sublime ourselves blindly. The spiritual master may be self realized and situated in the absolute truth, yet we have to question him in order to understand. We have to question, not we have to challenge. Yet we have to question him in order to understand all spiritual points. So, Prabhupada says how one has to question with the submissive mode, not in a challenging mode, not in argument mode. If one is able to factually answer the questions about the science of Krishna, he is the spiritual master, regardless of where he is born or what he is, whether he be a Brahmana or Kshudra or American, Indian or whatever. When we go to a doctor, we do not ask him whether he is a Hindu, Christian, or Brahmana. He has qualification of a medical man. And we simply surrender saying, Doctor, treat me, I am suffering. See, such a nice, beautiful example Prabhupada is given to understand how one should operate. Not that, no, he's a, whether he's a Indian doctor, he's a Christian doctor, he's a Hindu doctor. When we go to hospital, we'll not question all these things. We'll just see whether he has a qualification. Exactly, similarly, when we go to a spiritual leader, we have to just see whether he is a qualified. He has been authorized. Only then we can acquire the knowledge, and we should surrender unto such a personality by submissively inquiring. What is the submissive inquiry? Here Prabhupada is saying, Doctor, treat me, I am suffering. Similar way, with submissive mood attitude, we have to submit ourselves, surrender ourselves unto the lotus feet of a qualified, into a bona fide spiritual master with the submissive mood. Krishna is the ultimate goal of spiritual science. Of course, when we speak of Krishna, we refer to God. There are many names of God throughout the world and throughout the universe, but Krishna is the supreme name according to Vedic knowledge. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommended the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If we are following in the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu means Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has recommended to chant the holy name of the Lord as the supreme means for realization in this age. So there are four ages. One is Satyuga, Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga, and Kali Yuga. The present age is Kali Yuga. And for the present age, the recommended method is to chant the holy name of the Lord, which is given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none other than Sri Krishna himself. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not make any distinctions as to caste or social position. Indeed, most of his foremost disciples were considered to be fallen in society. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu even appointed Haridas Thakur, a Mohammedan, as Namacharya or a preceptor of the holy names. Similarly, Rupa and Sanatana Goswamis, two of Lord Chaitanya's principal disciples, were formerly known as Sakar Malik and Dabir Khas, and they were employed by the Mohammedan government. In those days, the Hindus were so strict that if a Brahmana accepted service from a non Hindu, he was immediately ostracized from Hindu society. Despite this, Rup and Sanatana Goswamis were made prince, principal authorities in the science of Krishna by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So there is no bar against anyone. Anyone can become a spiritual master, provided, seer. Anyone can become a spiritual master provided he knows the science of Krishna. This is the only qualification, and this science, in essence, is contained in Bhagavad Gita. At the present moment, thousands of spiritual masters are needed to spread this great science throughout the world. We should understand that when Krishna is speaking to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, he is speaking not simply to Arjuna alone, but to the whole human race. Sri Krishna himself declares that simply by knowing the science of Krishna, Arjuna would not be subject to illusion. Yet Natwana Punar Moham. If we have a very good ship, we can easily cross the Atlantic Ocean. At present, we are in the midst of the ocean of ignorance of this material world has been likened to a great ocean of nescience. This everyday morning we remember. How we remember? During Mangalarti, we sing the very first verse. This is samsara tava nalvida loka. This material world is ignorance, is the ocean of nescience. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prayed to Krishna in this way. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prayed Krishna in this way. Just 1 minute. Sorry for. Sorry. अयि नंद तनुजा किंकरम पतितं विश्वे भवाम्बुधो कृपया तव पाद पंकज स्थितधूलि सदृशं विचिन्तया. This is mentioned in Shikshashtaka given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given the 8th verse and this is the 4th verse. O son of Maharaj Nanda, I am your eternal servitor, and although I am so, somehow or other, I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and fix me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. We have the boat of perfect knowledge. There is no fear, for we can cross the ocean of very easily. Even if a person is most sinful, if he receives the boat of the science of Krishna, he can cross the ocean very easily. As stated before, it doesn't matter what we were in our past lives because we were in ignorance. We may have committed so many abominable actions. Indeed, no one can say that he is free from sinful activity, but according to Bhagavad Gita, this does not matter. According to Bhagavad Gita, even poor, most sinful person, it does not matter. Just by following the science of Krishna, one becomes free. Even though he is the most sinful person, still just by following the science of Krishna, one becomes free. And what is that science? Krishna tells in the last chapter, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Raja. Give up all your religion and just surrender unto me. There, Krishna says, do not fear all all our sinful activities will be nullified. It is therefore absolutely necessary that we seek knowledge, and the perfection of knowledge is to understand Krishna. Today, there are so many theories, and everyone claims to know the best way to live. Therefore, so many isms have evolved. Of these, communisms has become very prominent in the world. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, we find the seed for spiritual communism. There, Narada Muni explains that in this material universe, whether one be in a lower, middle, or higher planetary system, or even in outer space, all natural resources are manifested by the Supreme Lord. We must understand that whatever exists in this world was not produced by any human being, but everything was created by God. No sane man can deny this. Sri Ishopanishad enjoins Isha Vasam Idam Sarvam Yad Kinchit Jagatam Jagata Tena Taktena Bunjita Ma Grinam Kasya Swadhinam. Everything im- animates or inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. One must therefore accept only those things necessary for himself which are set aside as his quota, and one must not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong. Consequently, all living entities, beginning from Brahma, the highest demigod, down to the lowest ant, have the right to use natural resources. Everyone has right to use the natural resources. Nagmuni points out that we can use these resources as much as we require. Actually, we have to use all these resources given by Lord Krishna only as much as required. There only it comes. Na sochti, na kankshati. Otherwise, we exploit this material nature because of our tendency, because of acquire more. And because we don't acquire more, then we lament, and then our desires will not get fulfilled, and keep on desiring more and more and more. But if we take more than required, we become a thieves. Actually, we are thieves. In this relation, Prabhupada says one very beautiful one story that once the soldiers of a king, they will catch a thief and they'll take it to they'll present in front of king, and then king will ask what and all he has committed the sinful activities to tell. Then they will explain that he is a big thief and he is stealing others' property like that. Then thief will then king will ask thief, you want to say anything like that? Then thief will tell that I am very insignificant, very small thief. I'm just stealing like no in one own house, little. But you are a big thief. He will tell to king only. You are a big thief. You are stealing God's property, everyone else's property. I'm a very small thief. And in that way, you are also a thief. And all these people present here, they are also thief. So here Prabhupada is mentioning why king also is thief, because he is acquiring more than what he is required. Unfortunately, everyone is trying to conquer and predominate. Countries race to the moon in order to put up their flags and claim that planet. When Europeans came to America, they put up their flag and claimed it for their nation. This flag planting and flag waving is all due to ignorance. We do not stop to think where we are putting our flag. It is not our property, but it is God's property. Knowing this knowledge and thinking that it is my property is the biggest ignorance, is the biggest illusion. We have the right to utilize, but not claim or hold. See, we have a right because Krishna is supplying everyone. Krishna is the seed giving father. He is supplying, and we have a right to use. But when we acquire more than what actually is necessary, then we become a thief. If we, Prabhupada is given an example, if we throw a bag of grains into the street, pigeons may come and eat 4 or 5 small grains and then go away. They will not take more than they can eat. And having eaten, they go freely on their way. But if we were put many bags of flour on the sidewalks and invite people to come and get them, one man would take 10 or 20 bags and another would take 15 or 30 bags and so on. Why? Because man is greedy. We don't take what is required. We're taking what is more than required. So we cannot be even compared to a birds, a beast. Prabhupada is given a beautiful example. If just throw a few grains, no, some birds will come, they'll pick some 2, 3 grains, how much they want, and they'll eat. And when their stomach is full, they'll fly. They'll not store. But the same logic, same example, if some few bags if you throw on the roadside, when the people are walking, they will take bags. Not how much required 1 kg, 2 kg. No, they'll take 1 bag, 2 bag, 15 bag. Prabhupada is saying here. But those who do not have the means to carry so much away will not be able to take more than a bag or two. So we'll stop here today's session. Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.